you help them model using the stems, but we may need to provide more stems that promote look fors during that discussion. So I think providing specific look fors during group discussion will help them participate. So I think we need to practice this because it's kind of confusing. It's somewhat, broad. So we had the discussion, right? And then your instructions were to do what with the stems?
Oh, so basically, to whatever question they had to answer, they had to read the specific stem before they gave me their answer. Because I knew if I would have said, "What'd you say for number 2?" they would just say democracy.
Yeah.
Or they would just say for number 1, to make laws. Because that's what that's what she had.
Yeah.
Especially that girl that was sitting over there. When I asked her, she was, what does government do? Make laws. Was her answer. So if I wouldn't have had them say, government is responsible for, and she said making laws.
Yeah.
Kind of shows them to, help them with complete sentences. And
so her response was kind of limited, and we want other students to listen to potentially add on.
Yeah.
So what if we had another set of stems up there that said, I agree with you, I disagree with you, and I could also add.
Okay.
So I want us to do a little role play. I could be the classroom teacher and you could be the classroom teacher. And I want us to pretend like we just finished that conversation and then we're giving them instructions to respond.
Okay.
Okay. So do you want to be the teacher or do you want me to be the teacher?
You can, yeah.
Okay. So, okay class, I've been following along with your responses. I want to hear what you have to think. I want the person with the biggest hoodie on to answer these questions. When you answer your questions, I want you to use these response stems here. Now, class, while he's giving that discussion, I want you to do 2 things. The first is to add to your notes if he has anything different or new. The second thing is I want you to compare what you talked about to what this person says. And so the student will give a response. I want you to, if you have something else to say, I'll call on another student. Do you agree with the student? Do you disagree with the student? Is there something you'd like to add on? Or do you have a question about what they said? Okay, so I'm gonna start. I like how you randomize. Pick number 2, group 2. How did your group define government? We defined it as something that keeps people safe. Okay, group 3, what do you think about that? I agree, I disagree. Oh, remember to use these stems. I agree, disagree, okay. I heard something over here when we were talking, when I came along, when I was monitoring, I heard this group say something. Do you have any other thoughts about this? Well, okay, let's go to the next question. So, do you kind of, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that'd be effective, and I think that's a good way to create engagement. Because I think another good thing is, I feel like and what could have been done better is, once they answered that specific question, it's kind of like the rest of, okay, now I don't have to worry about that answer.
Right.
Okay, and then they look at the next one.
Right.
And so that'll keep them on their toes, keeps them engaged. That way they okay, well, he could still call on me to answer this and to add, and I need to be prepared for that. And I think that not only creates more opportunities for critical thinking, but it also just more engagement.
Yeah.
It doesn't kind of let off, so that they can focus on that question until I actually move on to the next one. And I think that'll keep them more interactive.
Keep them interactive, and just think about how it's going to affect their listening and their speaking. Like if they're going to have more opportunities to speak and sound like a social studies person or geographist, I don't know what the term is. It's ultimately giving them that practice. So, do you want to add those systems right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So I guess let's just make like another column here, or just like let's just draw a line or something like that, and then we call it agree, disagree, if any question or clarify maybe.
So you want be like just I agree, and then would it just be simply because, or do you want to add something?
Let's just go with that for now. Okay. Or I agree. Let's say with at least, because let's let them like acknowledge the other person.
Okay.
I disagree with. And then, so what else? Like, let's do maybe one or two more.
Okay. Said I would, I would like I would like them to clarify dot 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 maybe, or is that?
It's like clarify means. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I would like to add.
I would like to add. That's what I was thinking. And then I think this is kind of, you're clarifying something, but you could also take the other thing if it brings up confusion. So I have a question about, or I'm wondering about, or something like that. Nice. So I think this all, I mean, how long, like ultimately, this didn't take very long.
No.
And I don't think it's something you necessarily need to explicitly plan for, but like while the activity's going on, you just add these things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like about these sentence stems. Let's go over here to your objective. And then, because I think we can
Improve on that.
I think
Let me grab the marker.
this is measurable in the fact that if you ask them today, what are the four major types of government, they could answer that. And I think we could have this still be a part of it, but it's very knowledge level, and maybe we want them to apply this with some sort of hook or some sort of greater connection to life. What about like, I remember whenever I was an English teacher, I had them create their own society, their own government.
Yeah, we'll probably start that. That's gonna be our project probably next week.
Okay, so why don't we lead them towards that? What can we get them to think about with that project today, that they're actively building that knowledge and critically listening for it, so they can critically write or critically create something? How can we include that here to start thinking about as it relates to government?
Let's see, identify the major types of government, and I'm not 100% sure exactly how to go about that. I think that's one of the things one of the things I tried to emphasize last year that I still needed a lot of work on was kind of my objectives. So I'm not entirely sure what that would look like.
Okay.